Hello everybody, this is Miranda the Hybrid and welcome to Tutorial Tuesday. Now today you are going to be learning advanced 2-point perspective on a cube. It's a bit difficult of a lesson, just in the fact that it has a lot of steps. It does look more accurate and a lot cleaner than the perspective we learned in last week's video. Now this particular technique was taught to me by a professor in the first year of college. He was extremely good at what he did. He was brilliant, in fact, with his ability to draw things in perspective. The problem was that he was a massive jerk, and the critiques he gave were enough to make students run out of the classroom and cry. I'll talk about that after the actual tutorial, but the base lesson is please be kind when you give somebody a critique, especially when it's a young artist who doesn't know what they're doing. Just because you're famous or well-known in an institution doesn't give you permission to be extremely mean to people, even if you don't like them. He's already called the police on me for talking about him. Oh god, I do think they're coming for me. He has called them. Okay, let's do this quickly before they get me. Now let's get a little look at the kind of stuff I learned in this guy's class, because I will never stop admitting the fact that he really knew what he was doing. In fact, as you can see, he had us practice this way he designed drawing a cube over and over. Oh yeah, there's more over here too. Over and over. He really knew what he was doing, but he really enjoyed teaching and having people... Oh my god, how many freaking cubes did he have us draw? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I learned a lot from him. He really was good at what he did, but man, the guy had a bit of an attitude. So here, I'll teach you how to draw a cube like this. It's really super cool, and it works. I'm probably going to have to remember a bit of it because it's been a very long time since I was doing this sort of stuff, as in, God. I got into school in 2013, and it's 2021 now. So it's been 8 years. Oh my god. Yeah, so this was 8 years ago, and I have not used his trick ever since. Frankly, you don't need to use a trick like this unless you want to make something look extremely realistic in perspective. So let's see if I can remember this. You're going to want to start by making a horizon line somewhere near your top. And it's a 2-point perspective and you're looking down onto the cube. You're going to use one flat line over here to direct the edge of the cube. So this is going to be your one tall edge, right? You're going to have a perspective point up here, which is where the bottom leading edge is going to go to. And then you need to make a bottom edge down here as well. So this is obviously the bottom of your cube. You're going to drive that backwards in perspective. So this is the rear leading edge of your cube right here, this line. And you're going to measure how tall it is, and then try using that exact same distance and putting it down near the bottom. So that's how wide it's going to be. If the cube were facing you directly to the front, it would be this tall and this wide. In fact, I'm going to push it a little bit further out. Now, instead of just trying to draw it backwards in perspective, because that would look super funky, seeing that would be a 1-point perspective way of drawing it, and we're doing something in 2-point perspective, you're actually going to just tilt it a little bit, from what I understand. I'm going to draw an angle coming in this way. You're going to kind of kick it up a tiny bit. Kind of right over there. I honestly forget how he measured this. I don't even think there was a specific way he measured this. He kind of just wanted to tilt it on its side. So we're going to tilt it on its side, and we're going to use that same curve and boop, put it right over there. So now this is the leading edge of your cube, leading bottom edge. This is the leading top edge, and then you have the side edge going backwards. Now we're going to drive this line backwards. Oh god, I'm going to need a ruler eventually. I'm not good with straight lines. I'm going to drive this line all the way back. So now you have a sort of kind of bottom base of your cube. Now remember this curve we made down here, I know it's kind of hard to see, so let me darken a little bit. This curve here is the 90-degree angle that the bottom of your cube is creating. So you want to find the midpoint of that curve, right about there, and drive this line backwards through it. And that line coming backwards is going to be your second point of perspective. So we have first point, and we have second point of perspective. Now that we have this line over here is the rear edge, is the rear far edge of your cube. So now we know that this is the leading rear edge of the front bottom of the cube. And this means what we want to do now is find the middle point of the bottom here, this bottom line. Because once we find the middle point, we can kind of do our little curvy thing right over here. And this marking that we're making right here is the middle line of the cube. So let's pull that down from here to here. And now that we have the middle point of the cube, that's the direct center, right? You can take this line and drive it backwards like this. So now we have the bottom 4 parts of the cube. Let me outline them in marker because this is getting extremely confusing. So congratulations, you made the bottom of the box. What's next? Well, we're going to take the top edge of our cube, drive it backwards. And now with that, since it's in 2-point perspective, it means that it's straight up and down. We can drive the back of the box upwards and find out where it's going to hit. So now we have another plane being defined on our box. Awesome sauce, what's next? You can take this front corner and drive it back to our second perspective point. Now, just like this line over here, when you drive it back, it hits in the back corner. So, you guessed it, we can take this line and drive it up as parallel as we possibly can. And that is going to create the back part of our box. And now that we have the back part of our box, we can take this line and drive it all the way forwards, right? And now that we have that line, we can drive this one up as parallel as possible. Remember, always parallel. And connect that part of the box, that part of the box. If you want to be fancy, you can draw your diagonal across here as well. And bam, a Fiorelli cube. I'm going to outline the other sides, just so you can see what the heck is going on here. So this is the advanced 2-point perspective I was talking about in the previous videos. You don't really need to know how to do this unless you really want to be exact with the design. I can't really summarize the steps because it is so complicated. As you saw with the sketches in my old design sketchbook from that particular class, there are a plethora of things that you can do with it. You can push it really far to make, cylinders coming towards you in perspective, for instance. Or you can cut your box in half. Make it look like a slice of cheese coming towards you in advanced 2-point perspective. You can use it to figure out shadow lengths. In fact, it was this particular project that he ripped apart in front of the rest of the class, which made me cry and run to the botanical gardens. Aha! Art college! Or, just turn it into a nice box. So the general lesson of this isn't spite, and it isn't me telling you how to do a really advanced 2D perspective. The lesson here is kindness and knowing how to guide people correctly when they're doing art. If you guys haven't seen my critique sandwich video, I would really enjoy if you did, because what you say to other people really can affect them for a very long time. And there is almost never, ever a situation where you should berate somebody's project in front of a large group, especially when you are the person who they look up to. It could discourage somebody completely. Yes, there is an argument that getting an extraordinarily harsh critique, as I have multiple times gotten, will give you a thicker skin. And sure, my skin is thicker now. And sure, I did learn some very, very neat perspective tricks. But at the same time, it leaves a horrible taste in the person's mouth. And it's one of the reasons I didn't go forward and become a car designer. Of course, you could say that that professor's blatant bullying is what led me to become a person on YouTube teaching you free art lessons. So I guess there is a positive out of all of this. So please be kind, everybody. Please go watch the video if you ever intend on giving anybody an art critique. It's a lot easier to lead with a carrot than try to herd with an angry dog. I don't have my water with me right now. So, drink your Copic refills. Get your sleep. Believe in yourself. And follow your dreams. I love all of you. Thank you for 500,000 on TikTok and almost 40,000 here. And I will see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.